Hey everyone, so I'm going to share with you the next stage of what I've learned in my review today for my Live to Lead. So the next one that I watched was that letter that I wrote, or that I said, consider writing. I just see my notes. Her name was Tiffany Bova, and she says when you do those questions, just give yourself 2 minutes. So don't spend a lot of time reading it. It doesn't have to be long. It can just be bullet points, that letter to yourself. With the questions, are you where you want to be? What is holding you back? What is pushing you forward? What areas do you want to grow in? What do you want to aspire to be? What will you do differently? What is it that you need to change? And then the next one, this was Jesse Cole, Savannah Bananas. And basically he was looking at marketing. So he started out similar to me, sleeping on the floor. And he just talked about his growth, his journey, some of the mistakes that he made along the way. And basically marketing is what you do. And people don't watch what you say so much as what you do. That's basically what it comes down to. People in Zimbabwe say actions speak louder than words. And the things that I wrote down a lot of points, so I'm just going to give you a few of them. They put their fans first. You wouldn't believe what they did for me, he says. When someone says that, that's good customer service. When you wow the customer, and I had a lot of those experiences in my career in Canada, working in retail, working at the Bay, working in banking, working at Teleperformance. The customers used to be very, very happy when I finished with them. And you have to hold on to those in the difficult times. Some of the things that he suggested, and these are things that you learn when you work in retail, in customer service, is to put yourself in the customer's shoes. And how can you wow them? How can you impress your customers so that they come back to you? In sales, there's things that they did. They tried to make the experience enjoyable for the customer, to entertain them, to engage them, and to experiment. So we learn by doing. Even with my talks, I'm learning by doing, because you have to go back, review your talks, see what you did well, what worked, what didn't work, what do you need to change, and then you can experiment and tweak it from that. And empower action. What are you willing to do that others are not willing to do? What steps are you willing to take that others are not willing to take? And some of these things we grow up with naturally. They're just basic manners. It's not rocket science. Like if somebody sends you a gift or sends you a card, just to say thank you to them, to show your appreciation. To send them something when you have a bit of money. It's just things that make life a little more palatable. People having a little bit of manners and a little bit of respect. Those things can be incorporated into your business plan. And just a thank you for your service. Thank you for buying with us. Thank you for your loyalty to the company. Those things go a long way in helping you when you are going into marketing, or you're building your business, or you're building fans. There's a lot that you can put in to be thoughtful, and there's a lot that you can put in just to go that little bit extra to make somebody feel a little bit special. If you grew up like me in a retail business, in a family business, some of these things are built in. You don't have to be trained on them. If you grew up in a good home, you don't have to be trained on them, because you're taught those manners in the home. You're taught to wake up and not just go and sit at the table. You're taught to wake up and say good morning. You're taught to not come out without having your gown on. So it's things like that. Like when you're learning the piano, my piano teacher, Mrs. Fletcher, she always used to say to me, when you are playing the piano, don't rest your arm, don't rest your wrist on the edge of the piano, because it's considered very disrespectful in music. You always keep your hand up and you lift your hands when you have to cross them over. So there's things like that that you remember. I remember my grandfather used to always say, don't sit with your elbows on the table. And even when you eat in the Indian community and the African community, when you eat, you always wash your hands before you eat. And if you are using your hands, you only use the tips of the edge of your fingers and your thumb to hold the food together. So there's little things like that that we can bring into our businesses, into our marketing, into what we're doing. And they also make life better. So if you're washing your hands, you're not eating with your hands dirty. You are actually helping your own health. If you go to the toilet and you come out and you don't wash your hands, and then you eat something, you're not only putting yourself at risk, you're putting other people at risk because it's unhygienic. So these are just things that you pick up when you're learning, and you have to be willing to go that extra mile to learn that little bit more, to go from good to great. Stephen Covey is another person that I've listened to. I've read his books, but that's the next section that I did. And it's a lot of information, so when you finish days like this, you can be quite exhausted. And now I'm doing the last part. So I broke it up into chunks. I took the whole day. This is just like half a morning usually. But I broke it up into chunks, and I review my notes as I'm listening and as I'm going through it. And you can apply it to your own situation, your own business, what you're doing. And I think that's one of the reasons that I did so well on the campaigns in teleperformance. And it's because it's part of how I grew up. It's not things that I had to learn that were new. I had to learn the policies, I had to learn the processes, but the soft skills, those are skills that started in my childhood in Zimbabwe, and Canada can't take the credit for that. I'm watching all these politicians on, the crime and all that. Yes, you do have to discourage crime, and you do have to be careful with crime. But never forget, they put Nelson Mandela and Robert Mugabe in jail for wanting equality for all of us. So you have to know your history as well. And the racism in this country has been reported even during COVID. Even till now, they're reporting the racism of Canada. So you can't be complacent and think that Canada is better than other countries. It's not. We have to also be careful with our rights and our responsibilities, and we can't just let the police do whatever they want to us, because they'll do what they did to Mandela to us. They're already doing it. We have to also be careful with our own lives and value our own lives and our own businesses.